welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to do a highest and lowest rated of my TBR. What I've done is I've taken out anything which is a sequel that I've not yet read, and I've just left in the next ones that I'm due to read, and that is left me with 28 books on my list on GoodReads. No surprises by looking at this list. So if we just go and change them to average rating, not overly surprised. The top one on the list is The Ballad of Never After, which is the second one in the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. Now, if you remember, I did read the first one back in like a book vlog where I was reading more physical books during the week, and I feel like I was disappointed. I don't know if it's because I kind of feel like I'm done with Stephanie Garber. I feel like it might be a bit too young for me. And I kind of felt like, I know it does follow on from Caraval, but it kind of felt like a bit of a rinse and repeat. And I was kind of just disappointed. I think because it's so highly rated, the series is so highly rated, I was expected to be blown away. And the fact that it's higher than The Raven Scholar, and I've heard amazing things about The Raven Scholar, that's one that I'm putting off reading because I'm worried that the hype's going to be so big for it that I'm going to be disappointed in the actual book itself. But anyway, it looks like we're reading The Ballad of Never After. So another one though, these are books that I read that first book in the series and I've put off reading the rest of them. Oh God, this background's so messy. We're in the middle of sorting out this room and the background's so messy. This is a book that I've been putting off reading because I was disappointed by the first one. I've got the next two in the series and I've got the Waterstones exclusives, and this one is one that's signed as well. And I'm a mood reader, so I will literally go through my TBR and I'll be like, yes, today is the right day to be reading that book. And I keep looking at this book going, I don't really want to start reading it again, but it looks like I'm being forced into it. So The Ballad of Never After then. And let's flip this around to the worst rated, which surprisingly is Overgrowth by Mira Grant. Now I've got the Illumicrate version, which is absolutely gorgeous. It's another one that I've heard pretty good things about. To be fair, the average rating is still 3.54, which isn't that bad. But that and then Soul and Earth. So it's two sci-fi ones that are at the bottom. But I do, this is another one that I've heard reviews of it. I've heard people talk about it. And it's one that I'm like, I have to be in the mood to read it. And again, I'm being forced to read it. Let me go get the books. Okay, so here we go. We've got The Ballad of Never After. As usual, absolutely gorgeous Waterstones edition. So the second one then in the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. And then we've got, I mean, look at it. It's just beautiful. Overgrowth, which, like I say, is the Illumicrate. And the Illumicrate editions, Illumicrate editions, I just absolutely love them. I did start, this is one that I got 12 pages into and then stopped. And it's probably because I just wasn't in the mood for it. If I start a book, it doesn't necessarily grab me straight away. I might put it back down again. I've got quite a few that have got bookmarks in at like this point. I think Blackthorn's one of them. And Red Rising. I'm finding Red Rising really hard to get into. So Red Rising is number 8 in the list, which is quite surprising. Okay, so I'll take you along and do a little bit of vlogging while I'm doing the reading of these books. I don't know which one I'm going to read first. Probably the Ballad of Never After. I'll probably get that one boxed off first because that's the one out of the two that I'm least looking forward to reading. I'll do a little bit of vlogging and then I will wrap at the end to let you know, do I think these ratings are fair, or do I think actually they're either generous or they're not generous enough? Well, let's see. All right, so let's do a check-in. I'm a little bit over halfway on The Ballad of Never After. I am 247 pages in and it's like just short of a 400-page book. I just don't think Stephanie Garber's for me. I'm gonna finish it. I will end up reading the whole series, but I don't know. I think the worlds are interesting that she creates. I love like this like fairy tale style world that's all fantastical. Like I love the Caraval world. I thought that was so fun. And like the Magnificent North. It feels very like reminiscent of, you know, like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and these like over the top worlds, but I genuinely struggle with her female characters, and I'm struggling with Evangeline. Like everybody always goes on about how fantastic Jax is. I've yet to see it. I'm just like, okay, we know he's a fate. We know he's duplicitous. We know he's always like gonna be out for his own gains. And like we're into book 2 and he's still obsessed with Atella. I'm like, she's moved on, dude. You just need to give it up. But I think something that I've realised reading these books, and I think this is why I don't like the female main characters, is that they just are certain, I don't want to say indecisive, because it's okay to be indecisive, but it's like every hour they change their mind. Oh, I can trust him. No, I can't trust him. And it was the same with Alchemy of Secrets. It was like she wrote herself a letter. At the beginning of this book, she writes herself a letter saying that she cannot trust Jax. And it's there to keep as a reminder. And she might as well have just burnt it. It was pointless writing it and sealing it and putting it in plain sight. I know a lot of the time they're not actually in the palace anymore for reasons. But like, what's the point? She's got this internal narrative where she's constantly going, oh, I need to remember my husband. And I need to remember to be faithful. And I need to help break his curse. Oh, but Jax is so dreamy. And I just get really frustrated. I know you can have complex emotions. I really know you can. But the turnaround is so fast on them. I feel like I get whiplash. You know, sit and think. But I don't know if this is just because the characters are young. Like, how old is she supposed to be? Let's have a quick look. So she's supposed to be 18 in this book. So I think that's possibly where I'm like struggling, because if she's supposed to be 18 and she was 17 in the first one, I'm like, this girl is too young to deal with any of these life decisions. It's also so something that I found, I don't want to say uneven, something that I've noticed is there's a lot of books that get, so for example like Belladonna, it gets heavy criticisms for like the age difference. And the same with some of the others. I think some of the criticism surrounds the fact that they're supposed to have been present from when they're in childhood. But Jax is supposed to be ageless. She's supposed to be hundreds of years old and she's 18. How old was Donatella? I mean, she's 16, 17 in finale. It gives me the ick a little bit. I don't know. I mean, how old's Apollo? Do we have anything about Apollo? Apollo. Apollo's supposed to be 20. Okay. I don't know. I've said this in my tour of my shelves, which should have been last week, she says, hopefully. I just think that she writes too young for me. And I think that's where I struggle. And it feels like there's always supposed to be this like clever hook. There's got to be something clever about it that makes you go, oh! And I just don't always feel like it lands. I've got this obsession of referring to like the Stephanie Carver books about like, the Wizard of Oz, and it feels like it. She's always trying to recreate this aha moment, and I get a bit frustrated by it. I get a bit frustrated by the inner voice that the character has, because it's just infuriating to listen to. And she doesn't listen to anybody. I think that's where I get annoyed as well. There's so many female main characters that do this. They just don't listen to anybody and just go and do. This is where my controversial about Outlander comes in, because so much stuff happens in Outlander that if she just sat the fuck down like she was told to and stay there, stay safe, half of the shit that happened to Jamie wouldn't have happened. And it makes me really, really angry, and that's why I stopped with Outlander, because I'm like, this is consequences to your own actions. You were warned. But I feel very similarly about these, that it's this. And I know it's that impulsive aged thing, and that's what you can put it down to. Oh, they're impulsive because they're young, but it gets old. And I think this is where I'm losing patience for it. I said, I am going to finish the book. I will finish the series. It may redeem itself. I enjoyed Caraval before Teller got involved. I got a bit more frustrated when she got involved, because again, it was that very young sentiment. And Academy of Secrets is supposed to be a book which is an adult book, and it's very tonally still the same as these characters. They all are very samey. So at the moment, I wouldn't give it. Like, this is going to be like between what, a 4 and a 5 star on GoodReads to get that. I'm just not feeling it. I don't know if I just came in with a bad attitude. That is entirely possible. I was watching somebody the other day, a booktuber, I think it might have been Ellen Catherine, and she was saying that typically anyway, she's also done a video like this, and I'd already like started this video and she did one as well, and I was like, oh, I've had this on my calendar for ages. She was saying about how sequels tend to get better ratings because people are already engaged with the content, and that probably tracks for these. So I will carry on reading it. I will come back when I've finished it, which I'll probably finish it today. This has been a couple of days of reading, and then I'm going to switch on to Overgrowth, which was the worst rated, and then I'll try and catch up midway with that one and towards the end, and then we'll do a wrap to talk about whether or not things actually deserve it. I don't. I've just recorded 2 videos and neither of them saved. So I don't want to talk about this book anymore. God damn it. Okay. So this book I've even crossed it off from a bloody Goodreads now, and I'm very mad about it. Ballad of Never After. The Goodreads rating is 4.49 stars. But when you look at the amount of people that have reviewed it, it's got 488,507 ratings with 73,000 reviews. So I can't help but feel like that skews the results anyway. And then you look at Overgrowth, and that's on 3.54 Goodreads rating. But it's only had 300. So I did that the first time as well. So it had 3,900 ratings and 1,100 reviews. So of course, like, the overall rating's gonna be vastly different. This is a young adult. It felt very young adult. I really struggled. I mean, you've seen in the vlogs, I just don't like the characters. I have got the last one in the trilogy. It was just recently announced that there is going to be, I think, a novella that follows it up. Because I don't know the ending, I don't know how the third one wraps up. But I feel like it's not been a satisfactory ending for a lot of people. They're also not sure how this novella is going to go. I just struggled. I read it, but I struggled. I keep giving Stephanie Garber a chance, and I've even pre-ordered the follow-up to Alchemy of Secrets because I want it to work for me. I want to like her books because everybody loves them, but for me this is just overhyped. I don't think it's worth the rating that it has. I really don't. I did say more in the old recording, but a lot of it was just how much I disliked the characters. Like, Jax is so obsessed with finding his true love to get rid of his curse. She's obsessed with this idea of love, but she's 16, 17. It's highly romanticized idea of what true love is. And like I say, the constant flip-flopping just did not work for me. And Stephanie Garber as an author does this a lot. The narrative style is just not really my cup of tea. So, having said that, we'll move on to Overgrowth. Now, Overgrowth, I thought was really interesting to read the reviews because the things that people criticise it for, people also, in separate reviews, love about it. So it feels like it is purely like what you prefer when it comes to a book. I personally think there's a lot of people that get frustrated with the pace of it because it is a slower book. If you're expecting this big sci-fi adventure, that's not what this is. This book leans very heavily into identity and belonging and what that sense of home is, and like that found family and that's explored through several of the characters in this. The aliens are not likable as a species at all, but they're not supposed to be. They're supposed to be the villains that have come and taken children in a really awful way, which you find out in like the prologue or the first chapter. It's horrendous. I just really enjoyed a little bit of maturity in this book, which some people say was lacking. However, I thought it was. I think maybe in just comparison to this one, it felt a lot maturer to me. The characters were in their mid-30s. I do really feel like there was that rash emotional decision making that you find a lot of people still put onto them. But again, this is another criticism that people have said, that they do see that. So I don't know. Like I say, it's a subjective thing. All art is subjective and books are very much art. I enjoyed this book. I think it should be on more than a 3.5. Overall anyway. I don't necessarily think it was worth a 4-star for me. Probably a 3.5, so it might be accurate. I just don't think this is a 4-star. I would give this like 2.5 at a push. This I would rate higher because that depth of character was in this book. It is more of a character study with that background of an alien invasion. It's got little elements of body horror. I wouldn't say it's out and out body horror, but obviously there's a transformation process. They are basically living in human skins, so that's going to happen. Anyway, in conclusion, I thought this book was probably on track for the ratings, but I don't think this one was. So therefore, out of the two, I actually preferred this one. But this one I think should be lower. I don't think this is worth that. Especially getting higher than the Raven Scholar, which is just absolutely insane to me. But yeah, I'm going to persist with Stephanie Garber, but I need to finish off the trilogy anyway, just so I can put it to bed. Like I said, I've pre-ordered the novella because I kind of want to know like what happens. But it feels like it's going to be a hate read. It doesn't actually feel like it's because I want good things to happen. I'm like, come on, everybody dies. That kind of thing. Whereas obviously this is a complete book anyway. But I'm sorry. I probably was a bit more articulate the first time I recorded this. And I probably gave more reasons. But like the fact I have to re-record this has just annoyed me a little bit. So you're getting a little bit of that irritation through. So I fully apologise for that. But if you want me to do this kind of video again where I take my highest rated versus my lowest rated, more than happy to do that. If you've got any recommendations based upon like my preferences, put them down below. I will see you all next week. Thank you very much.